the marrow that I featured just a couple of episodes ago, within the last fortnight, has really kicked on. There's still a bit more development to go through, so I'm going to leave it in for a while yet. In fact, I might look to see if we can let these fully mature so that we can store it. We've done it before and it's stored for a couple of months at least, so that's something I'm looking forward to doing. We've got another one that's forming really nicely. It's actually a beautiful looking marrow, that, even if I do say so myself. And as for the kosu patch, still going strong. You can see that we've made a number of cuttings from this, a number of harvests, and we're approaching mid-September, and there are still some leaves and stems that can be harvested as we enter the third week. So we'll be planting more kosu next year. It's not bad. We're quite north in England, in the northwest of England, and to have kosu to be planted in spring that's giving us a crop in summer and tail end of summer into autumn is not bad at all. I'm pleased with that. And what I've found tremendous this year is that the cherry tomatoes and tomatoes generally have been free of blight. It's not uncommon to enter September and have to pull out all these plants. So there's not much sign of blight, not that I can spot, at least to the extent that's going to cause damage to the fruit. So that's another success this year. These are the cherry tomatoes that we've been picking on and off. There's some at the top there. Obviously when it reached the roof of the polytunnel I had to pinch out the tops. But that's been pleasing. And we've naturally got some unripe tomatoes, which, worst case scenario, we use these as green tomatoes. I know in the US people eat fried green tomatoes, and there are recipes out there, but we Bangladeshis know a thing or two about how to use these green tomatoes in our dishes as well. And tenga is delicious, and it just makes it a little bit more sour or a little bit more tenga. A little experiment that I tried to grow some purple beans in the greenhouse, thinking that in the shelter of a greenhouse I'll get away with a later cropping of purple beans. But for whatever reason, the plant's grown vigorously, but the flowers just haven't emerged. So it may well be that the plant's not reacting to the maybe the colder temperatures, or the drop in the light levels, or that it's got some other smarter way in which it's just known that it's not the best time to be sowing. So that's not worked out too well. But you learn, and I don't think I'll do that again next time. I'll certainly use the framework for an earlier sowing of something, but not a late sowing of purple beans. I have got a sowing of stem amaranth, some plants that I put in pots with some fresh compost, and if they do develop and thicken up a bit, then that's a bonus. The chilli plant is doing great. I can see there's plenty of chilies to be harvested, and that's something I've been pleased with this year. We've got some more chilies. These are different. These are ones that we use for cooking. They're a bit more jalapeno-like in their form, but I'm not 100% sure what these are. But the plant's been quite generous. The other chilli plant, the prairie fire plants that I've got in another greenhouse, in the lean-to greenhouse, is looking great. It's at this stage when they're just starting to turn an orangey colour, which we love eating at that point. It's chilies that I remember growing as a young lad. They're my original first plants that I grew. And I've always grown chilies. We can't do without them. Nothing like eating a bowl of curry or whatever and biting into a chilli. Oh yeah, we eat them raw. The borlotti beans are drying nicely. The classic sound of beans drying inside these pods. So I might need to take one or two of these down. The coriander patch in the greenhouse is doing okay. There are a large number of plants. So now that these have been established, it just proves that if you can get a sowing done in late August, even in early September, and the conditions are right, then you can get some coriander that you can be harvesting through late autumn and into winter. So pleased with that. And this time of the year, there's nothing like picking your own coriander. Obviously, there's no chance of it bolting. You'd have to really mess up and not water it at all for it to struggle to grow this time of the year. And you don't need a lot of it. It's so fragrant. The rainbow carrots that I sowed in this raised bed are progressing nicely. Obviously, we're quite a while away from root formation, but so far it's looking all right. And here's the daikon. Can't quite see thickening up of the radishes, the daikon radish, but I'm sure they will do. And those experienced gardeners amongst you might spot that splitting That's a classic sign of the radish about to form. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.